Good morning, class. Open your books to page The Millionaire Miser. The Millionaire Miser. Please switch off your mics. Okay. One day you were walking your dog in a park. You found a small pouch of gold coins buried near the banyan tree. What did you do? So now they begin with a very important question. Now, once you get the money, especially gold coins, obviously your conscience pricks you and you tend to steal maybe, but then they have given you options what is the righteous way to do things. Okay, and there are options given to you. You may take help from these clues. Take it home without telling anyone. Tell the guard and look for its owner. Share the coins with your friends and neighbors. Take it to the police. Distribute the gold coins among the poor. Inform an elder what you saw in the park and take his or her help. Keep it back safely at its place. So, what do you think is the best option? According to me, inform an elder what you saw in the park and take his or her help is the best option, you being small kids. Okay? Now they tell you the lesson, and we'll take up the lesson. Let us read about a man who pays a price for being a miser. Now, we have done this kind of a lesson in morals, if you remember, isn't it? Can you name the lesson we did in morals? Anyone?
Ma'am, jar of desire.
Exactly.
Jar of desire.
Jar of desires. So it's quite similar to that one. It's nearly just the same. Let's go for it. Sushil was a miser. Though his treasure house was full, he was too stingy to give away even the smallest coin. And since food costs money, he ate almost nothing and starved his family and servants besides. So now they're telling you that Sushil, a man, he was such a miser, he was such a, conjuice, that in spite of having all the treasures in his house, he lived a very stingy and poor life. And for that matter, he even starved for food. Why? Because he knew that food will cost him money, so he did not eat anything at all, and very little he ate. One morning, as Sushil took his daily walk through town, he saw a young boy eating a sweet rice dumpling. Sushil's mouth watered as he made his way home. Now, once he was walking through the, he saw a young little boy eating the rice pudding. Okay, the rice dumpling, sweet rice dumpling is the kheer actually. Okay, in Hindi. So he was having it and seeing that little boy, Sushil's own mouth started to water. He was feeling like to have the same. So what he did see, if only I could ask my wife to make me a sweet dumpling, he said to himself. But if I wanted one, so would my wife, and if my wife wanted one, so would the children. And if the children wanted one, so would the servants. So I had better just keep quiet. So now he was such a greedy man, he could not share his things with others. In spite of feeling a daring need of having the sweet rice dumpling, he did not have it because he thought that the moment he'll tell that he wants, then maybe his wife would also want, and so would the children. And if the children would have, the servants would also have. So he just kept quiet, he did not tell even. When Sushil arrived home, he said nothing but about a dumpling. But he wanted one so badly he felt weak in his legs. His legs shook and he had to go to bed. So now he was wanting the dumpling so badly that his whole body started responding. His legs shook and he was badly in need of one sweet dish. That means the sweet dumpling. His wife Nirmala came to him. She asked, "What is wrong, my husband?" Sushil lay groaning and clenched his teeth. Is there something you want? Said Nirmala. Sushil's face grew red, then pink, then purple. At last he squeaked, "I would like a sweet rice dumpling." So now look at this man. He's so damn greedy that he says that he wants the dumpling. And for dumpling, he just wants it at any cost. So he's saying he just laid down in his bed and seeing his terrible condition, Nirmala, his wife, she asked him, "Do you want something? Why you are in such a bad shape?" To this, his face turned red and purple. This shows that he was really, in a daring need to have one. And he squeaked. Squeaked means to give a shrill, loud uh, cry. And he said, "Yes, I want sweet rice dumpling." "There is no problem." "That is no problem," said Nirmala. "We are wealthy enough. Why I'll make sweet dumplings for the whole town." Sushil grasped in horror. "You will make a pauper of me." Now he's saying, being convinced. Nirmala says, "Don't worry. You don't have to really think about it. We're rich people and we can afford the dumpling. I can make it for the whole town only. We are so wealthy." To this, Sushil grasped in horror. That means he was terrified. He said, "Oh no, you'll make me poor. You'll make me go poor again because of your ways." "Well then," said Nirmala, "I will make dumplings for our family and servants." "Why would the servants need any?" said Sushil. "Then I will make them for us and the children. I am sure the children can do without." "Then I will make one for you and one for me." "Why would you want one?" said Sushi. Nirmala sighed and went out and returned after a while with a single sweet dumpling. Then she looked on as Sushil, mourning with delight, devoured every crumb. So now Nirmala, she said, "Don't worry, we can afford dumpling and I can give you and leave it to the others. I can give it to the whole town." Now this annoyed Sushil so much. He said, "You want me to turn into a poor man again?" So she says, "Okay, then we can have it for the family and the servants." So again she says, "Then why do you include the servants?" Sorry, Sushil said, "Why do you include the servants?" Then she says, "Okay, I'll make for you and for the children." Then again, Sushil was not eager to have servants also to be included. So he said, "Why the children? They can live without it." So she said finally, "Okay, I'll make one for you and one for myself." Again, he objected. He could not share it with even his own wife. So she said, "Okay." And she went inside and she made just one bowl of rice dumpling, which Sushil just loved having it. Devoured means to just enjoy every piece of the pudding. Okay. And he moaned. That means he was feeling so happy that he even moaned with delight. Okay. Now it happened that all this was seen by Saka, the king of heaven, who was sitting on his marble throne in his 1,000 mile high palace. "Not in 77 millennia," he declared, "have I ever seen such a miser. I will teach this fellow not to be so stingy." So now Saka, the king of heaven, who was watching him from above, saw all this and he was terrified to see such a miser person. So he told himself he was sitting on a very high placed throne, which was thousands miles high. That means it was in the sky in the heaven. And he himself had to say that 77,000 years have passed and he has not seen such a miser in his life. Millennia means decade, a period of 1,000 years. So 77,000 years have passed, and he has never come across such a stingy person like Sushil. Okay, so the god waited till the next day. When Sushil left to his morning walk, then he made himself look just like Sushil and came down to earth. Saka walked into Sushil's house as if he was Sushil himself. In Sushil's own voice, he told a servant, "Run through the town and invite everyone you see. Today, Sushil will share his wealth." So now Saka had a plan. He disguised himself as Sushil himself, and he came down on earth, and in his Sushil's voice only, he said and proclaimed to his servants that run across the town and tell everyone that Sushil is going to share his wealth with all the people of the town. When Nirmala heard these words, she cried, "Husband, can this be true? Heaven be praised for your change of heart." Then she helped him open the treasure house. So now Nirmala was overjoyed to listen to what her husband was wanting. She had never seen Sushil turn into such a open-hearted person, and she really admired this. She said, "I'm really praising the heavens above for this change in heart that you're sharing your money." And she herself helped Sushil to open this treasure house which he had. Now, Sushil was not actually Sushil. Who was he? Who was he? One of you?
Ma'am Saka. Ma'am
Yeah,
Saka. King Saka.
yes, yes. It was the king of heaven, Saka, who had dressed up as Sushil and was doing this. Soon the people of the town arrived. "Take what you will," said the pretend Sushil. "And if anyone who took like me tries to stop you, who looks like me tries to stop you, drive away the scoundrel." So now he says, "Ki if you please take it whatever you want and whatever you desire. If while taking, if somebody looking like me comes across and stops you, you can drive away that scoundrel." Scoundrel means a person who's worthless. Okay? Okay. "Thanks to Lord Sushil," cried the townspeople, "the most generous man alive." They rushed into the treasure house and loaded themselves with gold, silver, diamonds, and pearls. Just then the real Sushil came home. When he saw his treasure being carried out of gate, he screamed, "Robbers, thieves, put that back! How dare you!" So now while the people of the town were taking the precious things, they were praising the generosity done by this Sushil, and they were saying that they had never seen a man so generous as Sushil. And so they quickly took the gold, silver, diamond, and pearls, whatever they wanted from the treasure. And while they were doing so, the real Sushil entered, and seeing the people of the town taking away his treasure, he screamed. He got very furious, very angry, and he said, "Robbers, thieves, put this back, don't take it away. This belongs to me. How dare you touch my treasure," and all that. Okay? But the townspeople said, "This must be the one that Lord Sushil warned us about." And they chased Sushil halfway across town. So now they saw Sushil, and they just thought of the real Sushil told them that if they found anyone looking like him, they should chase him if he stopped him. So the people chased him out of the town. Sushil rushed on to the Raja's court. "Your Majesty," he declared, "the people of the town are taking all I owe." So now he went to the king's court and he said, "Your Majesty, the people in the town, they are taking away what belongs to me. Put your own but your own servant invited them," said the Raja. "I heard him myself. Did you not give the order?" "Never," said Sushil. "If the order was given, I beg you to bring the one who gave it." So the Raja sent a messenger. Soon came Saka, still pretending to be Sushil, along with Nirmala and the children. The children stared wide eyed at the two Sushils, and Nirmala nearly fainted. So now this real Sushil had asked Raja to please call the person who told that this could be my treasure could be given away. So the messenger was sent and came the Sushil who was actually Saka. Now Saka along with the children and the wife had entered the court, and there they saw the real Sushil standing, and the children, their eyes were widely open in surprise, and Nirmala, she nearly fainted. Imposter, screamed Sushil. Now, when Sushil saw that man who was just looking like Sushil, he called him imposter. That means a fraud person. Now, deceiver, screamed Saka. Now, Saka, in return, cried back and screamed as a someone who cheats, a cheater. I cannot tell the difference between you, said the bewildered Raja. He turned to Nirmala. Can you say which one of them is the real Sushi? So now the Raja was very bewildered. Bewildered means shocked, surprised, and confused. He said, I cannot make a difference between these two. But he asked Nirmala if she, being a wife, could tell the difference, who was the real one. Nirmala looked at both the men. Your Majesty, she said, may I ask them a question? Certainly, said the Raja. Nirmala turned to Saka. Is it better to be generous to yourself, to your family, to your servants, or to your neighbors? It is best to be generous to all, answered Saka. When you are generous, others also grow generous, and everyone is wealthier. So now, Sushil's wife, she also could not make out the difference between the two, and she said, "Okay, give me a chance. Can I ask them a question?" So the Majesty said, the King said, "Yes, please go ahead." Then she asked the question, for, and she asked Saka, and she said, "Now, is it to be good to be generous and kind and giving to the entire people, to yourself, or to the family, to the servant, or to the neighbors in general?" So now to this Saka replied, "It is better to be generous to all, not just to your family and your servants, but to everybody. You should be generous and giving in your approach. Why? Because if you are generous and kind, you are making everyone turn into a generous person and thus making everyone wealthier. Now, here, wealthier doesn't mean just the wealth, but to teach the quality of being merciful and generous. Okay, then Nirmala turned to Sushil. Is it better to be generous to yourself, to your family, to your servants, or to your neighbors? To none, shrieked Sushil. It is a waste of wealth that can never be regained. So now, when the same question was asked from Sushil by Nirmala, Sushil answered that no, it is not necessary to be generous to anybody. It's just a waste of wealth and you can never regain it also. Nirmala took a deep breath, gathered the children, then drew close to Saka. She said, "This is the true Sushil, Your Majesty." Okay, so now listening to the answer, what real Sushil gave, Nirmala was very, very displeased, and she sided with Saka. She knew that Saka was not the real Sushil, but yet she sided with him and said, "This is the true Sushil, Your Majesty." Why? Because the true Sushil, she wanted to be a generous person. But Nirmala cried, "Sushil, my wife, my children." At that, the god stepped forward and, with a blinding flash of light, changed back to his own shape. "Your Majesty, I'm not Sushil but Saga. I came down from heaven to teach this man a lesson." Now, listening to this, Sushil, he stepped out into his original form and turned into Saka, the King of Heaven. And he said, "Majesty, actually, I'm not the real Sushi. I'm Saka, belonging to being a king of heaven. And I came down to heaven to teach Sushil this lesson." Okay, we stop here for today. I hope you've understood everything.
Yes, ma'am.